because Serie B is it's a wild league and a lot of things go on. So
it's a wild league. Well said. And I'm sure we'll have a lot of. We're gonna laugh a lot about our predictions.
Guaranteed to be wrong. Let's just
absolutely 100%.
Cittadella are the only team in Veneto for this season because Vicenza failed to get promoted. Venezia went up to Serie A.
I would be happy with Carrarese and Reggiana being last and second to last. We are going to be touching upon each and every one of the teams on the league, so stay with us, interact with us, and together we're going to be speaking Serie B. Roma! Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the 13th episode of Speaking Serie B. Just like every Wednesday night, 7 p.m. CET time, we're here to share our thoughts on the most recent round. Today, we're going to be talking about round number 12 and share our predictions on the next round, which is round 13. The co-host of this show is Jake Iovine of Città Calcio USA. So welcome, Jake. Thank you for being here.
Yep. Good evening to you, Elia, in Italy. It's good to be back, just like every week here. And yeah, well, we'll get into the results in a little bit, but we could finally say that Cittadella has won a game, and it was a big one in Palermo.
Indeed. Finally, we can share some happiness. I'm really happy for you guys. Let's get into it. Go ahead. Let's talk about that right away.
Yeah. And for you too, in Spezia, another win. So it was a good week for both of us.
Indeed. Sorry. Indeed. So, away win for Cittadella in Palermo. So great win. It was a difficult game as well. So I'm sure you watched it. Tell us everything about it.
Yeah, so Cittadella getting a 1-0 win in Palermo. That is now the third straight result, win against Palermo. If you go back to last year, if you remember last year, they did the double over them, beating them home and away. And then they get this win at the Barbera. It's deja vu almost. Like it's very, very similar to how Cittadella won in Palermo last year, which, coincidentally, it came in the month of November. If you remember from last year, around this time, Cittadella traveled to Palermo and getting a goal in the 90th or 97th minute, I think it was, scored to win the game. Luca Pandolfi scored in that game last year, and guess who scored in this game right now that just happened a few days ago? Luca Pandolfi. So he did
He's the man of the game when he charges on when he sees the color of Palermo. That's awesome.
Yeah, and similar. It's I found this out. After the game that was actually the third time Pandolfi has scored against Palermo in the 90th minute. He did it. He's done it now twice for Cittadella, and he did it back in 2020 with Turis in Serie C. So. It's really, I don't know why.
Interesting.
It just seems like he loves playing in Palermo and he loves scoring because, I mean, you couldn't have written it any better.
Right,
because,
seriously.
It's so weird, like just that coincidence, like Pandolfi scoring in the 90th minute to get a 1-0 win at the Barbera. It's just, like, I still can't believe that Cittadella pulled that off. And it was maybe this could be the start of a turning point for Cittadella this season.
Yeah, that's what I was telling you. Yeah, right after the game. Hopefully, this is just the beginning. So you scored at the 90th minute. How did the game evolve? Was it a very balanced game, 0-0 till the last minute, or there was one of the two teams that was dominating? And how did it work out? How did it evolve?
Yeah, so I think Palermo definitely could have been winning 3-0 at halftime. Castrati, the goalkeeper for Cittadella, made a lot of good saves. He was probably the man of the match, I would say, making a lot of good saves. I think just, the quality of Palermo. Roberto Insigne for Palermo missed a lot of chances in the game. There was, I would say that probably Palermo maybe didn't deserve to lose. However, you got to give credit to Cittadella because they stuck in there. They They, worked really hard defensively. Castrati made good saves, and eventually they took that one moment and they got a goal out of it. I think it was I've been talking a little bit about this for the past few weeks, is that I think this year, Cittadella is they've had like a lot of bad luck. They've had not only this
Hmm.
season but the last season, with the eight straight defeats. Just nothing was going in their favor. And this year, conceding late goals, you know, given the court case against Pisa, the 3-0 at Tavolino result, I think,
Right.
and just 2 weeks ago against Cosenza, getting the goal rolled out in the last minute on the VAR,
Right.
by the home win. I think this was finally just that little bit of luck that they were hoping for,
It had to
and
change. It had to
maybe
turn
this could
around.
be a start of a turning point, because last season, Cittadella, when they did get this result in Palermo, it was a 1-0 result, like I just said, Pandolfi scoring late. They went on a run after that game. I'll bring up, how many games exactly, but they went on quite a
Please.
impressive streak without defeat. I think it was, I want to say 6 or 7 games without. Yeah. So right here, since that game last year, they won one, two, three, four. They won 5 games and drawn two. So 7 games without defeat, including 5 wins. So this could be definitely a new fresh
The
start.
beginning of
And
something.
yeah, yeah, they still need to get that home win, and they have a chance
Right.
to do it this week against, Cesena at home, but, definitely this was a much, much needed 3 points for, Alessandro Del Canto and for Cittadella.
Yeah, in the meantime, here I'm showing you some stats. Shots, 20 for Palermo, 9 for Cittadella. Shots on target, 5 for Palermo, 3 for Cittadella. So that was somewhat close. And possession,
Mhm.
61% for
And
Palermo, 39
and
for Cittadella.
if it doesn't show here, but the expected goals, heavily favored Palermo. It was, like,
Hmm.
above 1 goal, so that basically means that Palermo had the enough chances to at least score a goal, but they didn't, and Cittadella had lower than 1. So it was really a definition of a smash and grab win for,
Hmm.
Cittadella, similar to last season.
Right. And now you are 1 point ahead of Cosenza, which starts the red spots, Cosenza, Modena, and Frosinone. Cosenza 11 points, Modena 11 points, Frosinone 9 points. And not only the match in La Spezia between Spezia and Modena costed Modena the 19th place with only 11 points, 3 draws and 2 losses in the last 5 games, but it also costed Mr. Bisoli the bench
Yeah.
because he got sacked. So
Yeah, and
things are
they were
changing and
thinking
moving
of,
fast in Serie B.
they were thinking of Pirlo coming back to Modena, which that'd be something. Also, for Südtirol, they changed coaches. Valente, I believe, he got
Huh.
sacked too, and Zaffaroni is now the coach of Südtirol.
Huh. Interesting. I didn't know. Thank you for that. You see,
Yeah,
I need speaking Serie B to remain updated. Thanks
yeah.
to your knowledge.
We're
Awesome.
we're only in November, and we've had like what, 5 coaching changes. I mean,
Yeah, at
Frosinone,
least.
Cittadella, Modena, Südtirol, um, you know, Cremonese. So I don't know
Cremonese.
who's next.
Exactly.
Maybe my bets are on, maybe Alvini with
Sampdoria.
Cosenza.
Didn't Sampdoria started with Pirlo, so even Sampdoria changed.
Oh yeah, and Semp. I forgot about Semp. Yeah, but I could see Salernitana maybe changing coaches, or Cosenza. So definitely
Yeah.
very interesting.
So tonight will have to be somewhat shorter episode than usual. So let's go through the results of the week and compare them with our predictions. Briefly, I want to just talk about Spezia Modena 1-0 since I was at the stadium. And yet again, a solid performance by Spezia. It was awesome to see the Eagles play the way they do recently. Although in the second half, right after um, yeah, in the second half, Bisol probably tried to um, change things around, and we didn't dominate the second half as we did on the first half, probably because we were leading and somewhat the mentality of the players changed a little bit, but we were a superior team, better organized. I had the possibility to get in touch with two different journalists of Modena, and both of them told us that the superior performance by Spezia, better team, better organized, with clear idea, a clear identity, and Modena was just at the mercy, is that how you say, of
Yes,
Spezia, and they were saying that probably a lot of players didn't want to play under Bisoli anymore, and it was just something that was due to happen, doom to happen, in order to get a change on
mhm,
the leadership inside the locker room. So I'm sorry for Bisoli because somewhat I like him, although it's very defensive. But he's one of those guys that he doesn't mess around, and his experience in Modena didn't last very long. But best of luck to the Canarians, and we'll see what happens next. I'm happy that Spezia not only remained undefeated yet again, but were able to win, to come back to win in the Alberto Pico after Bari was able to impose the draw on us. So we'll see what happens in the next game in Castellammare di Stabia with Juve Stabia, and we're going to be talking about that in a minute. So let
mhm.
me share the results of the
Yeah.
previous.
Oh,
Go ahead, go
I
ahead.
wanted to mention I did was able to catch, some of the second half of the Spezia Modena match, so I did watch a little bit of it. So, yeah, I mean, I kinda have to agree with you. Spezia, very good defensively. I didn't really see many, opportunities for Modena, especially late in the game. A little bit of scrappy. It wasn't very, very exciting as from, like, a neutral point of view, like, in the second
Mhm.
half. But, at the end of the day, it's a clean sheet. It's another win for Spezia, another win at home. They're really making their mark at home, and I think that's super important, when you're racing for promotion. Important win also because, as we're gonna see, Sassuolo and Pisa also won, so it kinda keeps up. And
Right.
with Palermo and Cremonese losing, that kinda creates a little bit of a gap, between the top 3 and
The
the
the top
4 and
three.
5.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, so
Yeah, towards
yeah.
the last minutes of the game, I think Modena had the foot on the pedal and the foot on the gas. Sorry, the foot on the gas, and they were really trying to score the equalizer. So I remember being, in the stadium, and people around us telling me, "Oh, we're suffering again. We're suffering the last minutes." But it was only a matter of few occasions. We always had it under control. I think Gotti was called to his duty only in a single occasion that he had to perform, uh, with a good save. But other than that, it was a pretty solid performance.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. So let's get into these,
let's share. Yeah,
results.
indeed. Right here. Perfect. Let me. You can start with this round 12. Starting with Bari, Reggiana. I'll let you. Please do the honor,
Yeah, so
Jay.
Bari, they were up 2-0 going into the 80th minute, and they ended up drawing a big comeback from Reggiana, which costed me a point. So, and it gave Elia a good result there. So 1 point for Elia there. But yeah, Bari, that's another. Bari just can't seem to win. They're always drawing,
Unbelievable.
and um,
Unbelievable.
it's crazy. But anyway, Caradesi Juve Stabia. I remember this. I did when I saw the result. I was like, yes, I got a point because I knew. I remember I said it was going to be a draw. So 0-0. Not much to see there. Just another X, but that's a point for me. We both agreed with this result, Spezia Modena. We kind of touched upon it, so both of us get a point there. Palermo Cittadella, another result that we discussed upon. I don't think we
Completely
both
missed.
we didn't expect the two. And Elia, you were so close to a draw, and
Yeah.
no, but it didn't end up happening. But yeah,
I'm
that
happy I lost this one, though. I'm happy for you guys.
yeah, much needed win. as we've kind of touched upon it. But yeah, really important win. Catanzaro Frosinone. That's another Catanzaro, another team that just is always seeming to draw. They just, they love a draw there. So
Yeah.
it's another. I believe it was 1-1 or 0-0 with Frosinone. I'll
Zero
check
zero
for you.
zero to zero
Yeah,
zero zero. Yeah.
0-0. Nothing much there. So an X for that. We did not agree on this, so both of us get
Yeah.
0 points
We
for
missed it
this.
completely.
Cesena Sutiro. Cesena's doing really good at home once again, getting the 1-0 win against Sutiro, which costed Valente his job at Sutiro. We both agreed with this, so both points here. Cosenza,
Fourth place for Cesena.
yeah, and that's who Cittadella play next. So,
Oh,
um,
best of luck.
Cosenza Salernitana. I was actually talking to Antonio Paolopoli, who I was a
Hmm.
guest on his show a few weeks ago for the Cittadella Cosenza game. But he said that he felt like it was 2 points dropped, Cosenza leading against Salernitana, and then Salernitana coming back to get a draw. I did predict a draw on this, so I do get 1 point here. Cremonese Pisa. That was the big match on
Right.
Sunday. Um, really a statement win from Pisa. I want to say I saw the highlights
Yeah.
to three just really good goals. Being able to, they were tied at one point in the mental attitude to come back and win. We both thought it was going to be a draw, but none of us get points here. Ilya, were you able to watch this game at all? Were you able to see it?
No, I don't have anything to add to any of these games. I was at the Spezia game and I did not watch any others. Here in Italy, I'm actually helping my family with the farm. It's olive picking season. I am up there every single day. 1,000 olive trees. It takes a long time, and I'm trying to help as much as possible. We're leaving again before the end of the month, so while I'm here, I'm trying to support my family.
That's good. That's good. Yeah, but
Yeah.
Cremonese, really a big win for Pisa, and that really, like I said, that opens a little bit of a gap between Cremonese and Palermo, who were in fifth and fourth, between um, the leading pack Pisa, Sassuolo,
To
and
me,
Spezia.
as you can tell by the prediction we made, it's a surprising win in Cremona. Cremonese being one of those teams that clearly stated that they want to achieve Serie A this season. They want to play for promotion. I was I was really seeing like either an X or a Cremonese win in their own stadium. So Pisa is just, it might just be the year of Pisa. They're really strong. It's a solid team
Yeah,
and unbelievable. So
sure.
Spezia is undefeated, but Pisa is doing great, although they have two more points at the expenses of Cittadella. But, it is what it is for now.
Yeah, it does seem like it just we're waiting for them to kind of slip up, but it doesn't seem to happen. Inzaghi's done this with Benevento. He did it well with
Right.
Regina for a while, and then like in January and February, it started to slip apart. So maybe I don't know. We'll have to see what happens, but it looks like Inzaghi knows what he's doing, and yeah, I mean it's good for them because they were close to Serie a few years ago when they lost out to Monza in the final. So
It was the
um,
year that Luca D'Angelo was the coach of Pisa, if I'm not
that's right.
mistaken.
Yeah, that's right. So yeah, but also another one more thing to add about this is that Cremonese were coming into the game really hot.
Hmm.
They had not lost under Corini yet, and they were you know I believe, had 2, 3 wins in a row, so they had good energy, and, yeah, this was a really big win for Pisa.
Yeah, probably this is the test for Cremonese to say that yes, the goal for Cremonese is to be promoted, but they might achieve promotion only through the playoffs. Maybe they're not one of the teams that can try to go to Serie A directly, like Pisa, Sassuolo, and
Mhm.
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. And speaking of Sassuolo, they did get another win against this time against Moldena. 1-0 win. Berardi scoring. Really emotional moment for him. But we both agreed on this, so we both get
Sorry,
point each.
Mantova, Sassuolo, Mantova, not Modena. I confuse the two all the time.
Oh, did I say Moldena?
Yeah, I
Oh,
confuse the two all the time as well.
sorry.
Mon,
I
man, and that all the time. Even in
yeah,
the
I don't
predictions, I confuse them.
I I don't know what way I said that, but yeah, Sassuolo Mantova, and
Hmm.
yeah, I think just it's definitely going to be hard to compete against Sassuolo because I do think they're going to finish in that top two. Just looks like they have
Absolutely.
too much quality.
Indeed. Indeed.
And the last game for this match day was Sampdoria against Brescia. I got this spot on actually. I remember me saying it was going to be like a 1-0 win for Brescia. Yeah, I don't know why, but it was gonna be 1-0. And what happened? 1-0 for Brescia at
Exactly.
the
0 to 1.
Marassi.
Yeah.
So big point for me, and I was really proud of that result.
Good job. Good job. So the score for the week is 6-4, leading and gaining even more momentum, 48-45. While last week I was close, 42-41. So you're still leading stronger and stronger. Congratulations to you, Jake.
It's what I do. It's another point in the bucket. So we'll see.
Indeed.
So
So
shall we
let's go
start
on with
predicting? Yeah.
our predictions for round 13. I don't remember who started last week. Do you want to start?
Sure. Why not?
All
Okay.
right.
So first game on Friday, Frosinone Palermo. I don't know if you remember, this is quite a heated match because a few years ago, Palermo visited Frosinone in the playoff final. There was a lot of controversy in that game. Frosinone, towards the end of the game, were caught throwing balls onto the pitch to stop Palermo counterattacks, and Frosinone eventually were promoted in that game. I believe it was 1 or 2-0, and that caused a lot of outrage with Palermo.
Hmm.
Shortly after that, Palermo went down to Serie D. They came back and now are facing against Frosinone again in the exact same stadium where this event occurred. So this is a very I know it doesn't seem like a rivalry, but it really is naturally over time.
Hmm.
It just
I
became
didn't know.
one.
I didn't remember this. Thank you for that.
Yeah. So this is what I always think. And I'm getting kind of off track here, but these two teams do play on the final match day, so I'm sure the Palermo fans would love to, if this continues, to send Frosinone down to Serie C, and for an event for them, be promoted to Serie A. So that's something to keep an eye out on. But anyway, this result on Friday, you know, Palermo missed like a lot of opportunities in that game. Frosinone getting results now. It seems like um, still haven't scored a goal under their new managers. So I don't know what to expect for this. I'm going to say a two.
All right.
Yeah.
So I like uh, poetry. I like the underdogs. It might not happen, but sooner or later they won only one game. Palermo just lost with Cittadella. I want to predict a one.
All right. Yeah. I mean,
I'm gonna
listen,
go all in.
Palermo. No one expect Cittadella had the worst attack coming into the game, and people were saying like, no way Cittadella could win at the Barbera and against this team, and yeah, they did it. So entirely possible.
Although they are, if I'm not mistaken, they do perform better away than in Palermo because they lost with Salernitana as well in Palermo. So with Frosinone, they're probably going to win 0-3. But I want to hope that Frosinone can, maybe even in light of the rivalry that you just talked about, I wish them well. So we'll see what happens. The next game is Modena Carrarese. Modena is with a new coach and seriously in trouble right now. Carrarese is one of the newly promoted team that didn't start very well, but is now gaining traction and is occupying the 12th place with 13 points, with 5 consecutive positive results, 3 draws and 2 wins. So we must say that Carrarese is in good shape. Like it's in a good, is momentum, is momentum based.
Yeah.
Modena as the new coach, and probably there is some rebounds that you often talk about, when the new coach arrives. So it's going to be a difficult game. It's going to be an open game. I don't see Carrarese winning abroad, and I don't want to see, I can't see Modena winning right away. So, although you don't like it, on this one, I'm going to predict an X.
Hmm. Well, I was actually thinking of the same thing. I think,
Oh, there you go.
we can't ignore this run from Carrarese. They're really pulling a lot of results together, and but they're on the road this time against the Modena team. I have no idea what to expect because they do have a new manager. So for this, yeah, I'm gonna say an X as well.
All right.
Yeah, why not?
Next game is Südtirol Sassuolo is yours to predict.
Yep, in Bolzano, it's another game with the new manager for Suchiro under Zaffarone, who was the last coach, I believe, of Viral Pisalo, if I'm not mistaken. Last year, he was also the coach of Hellas Verona, who managed to escape in 2023 at the expense of Spezia. So I'm sorry if I
Hmm.
mentioned that.
No.
Or
It is what it is.
yeah, so this is another tough one. Sassuolo is in really good form. I just
Yeah,
I can't
Feral
bet
Pisalò,
against.
Verona, Cosenza, Chievo, Albino Leffe.
Yeah, it's just I can't bet against Sassuolo. It just seems like they're just really good. So I'm gonna play it safe and say two.
All right. If it weren't for the new coach and some sort of rebounds, Sassuolo is really like a tank, a rullo compressore, we would say. I don't know how you call rulli compressore. The machine
Yeah,
that rolls down the asphalt
yeah, like a tank.
like a tank. Yeah, like 4 wins and 1 draw. They're really like, mamma mia.
They're
Mamma
scoring like
mia.
a lot of goals
Oh,
too.
my. Say it again.
They're scoring like a lot of goals too, and they just have a
Yeah.
really lethal attack with Berardi,
Mhm.
Loriente, Mulattieri, all those names.
Right.
So they're really like a mini Serie A side in Serie B. So
Right. And Suttirol is probably the worst uh, defense of Serie B. 19 goals they conceded, ahead of Cesena, who conceded 18. So, I mean, of course, there is the new coach, but it can only count so much. So, no, I'm sorry, but I don't see Suttirol holding a candle to this Sassuolo. So I must agree with you. And although I wish for a draw for many reasons, being right behind Spezia, right behind Sassuolo, it's gonna be a two. I would say it's gonna be a two.
yeah, that's
All right. So go ahead. Go ahead.
no, that's probably the safe pick, and yeah, it's definitely it would be a kind of a shock if they pull out a win
Right.
against Sassuolo.
Pisa Sampdoria. So Sampdoria lost at home with Brescia. And Pisa is another one of those teams in really good shape, leading by those 2 points that they shouldn't have, probably. I'm sorry, I'm not rubbing it in. I'm really annoyed by it, actually. So we'll see
Uh,
what happens. Is there any update for Cittadella recourse?
Well, last week they did say that the Coney court they did receive Cittadella's ricorso, the reappeal for the
Hmm.
decision at the end of September that got the win 3-0 at Tavolino. So yeah, it's still very much in the balance. We're just gonna have to wait.
Right. Okay, look, I'm not going to take very long. Although there is rivalry with Spezia, with both Sampdoria and Pisa, given the situation, I do wish that Sampdoria is going to win this one. No matter how unlikely it is. So, but they play in Pisa, man. Serious, no, they're not gonna win in Pisa. They're not gonna win in Pisa, freaking it. So, I'm gonna have to say one. I'm gonna have to say one.
One.
Pisa's gonna win this one.
I was thinking of
Maybe
a
I'll bring
one,
them bad luck.
but I mean, it's just Sampdoria is just kind of unpredictable. You don't really know what you're gonna get. I mean,
They
sometimes
have
they're
Tutino and Coda. They should be destroying every defense in the
yeah,
league.
yeah, but that's the thing. Like they can turn up and get good results. I think just after these recent results, drawing at Cittadella, um, now losing at home against Brescia, they should have really not have won that game against Mantova at home 2 weekends ago, just given the disallowed goal from Mantova. So I'm going to say a draw, an X. To disagree with you, and also I could probably see them getting a strange
Not
result.
losing. Not losing. Got it. Got it. Got it. Okay, next game is Brescia Cosenza. What do you think?
So this is another kind of rivalries you didn't expect, kind of similar to the Frosinone Palermo one. Brescia was in the relegation playout 2 seasons ago against Cosenza, and Cosenza
Hmm.
won that off a last minute header in Brescia. And as a result, the Brescia fans protested. They threw flares on the pitch. The game was eventually suspended, and Cosenza ended up winning that just by the game was over there. But as we know that Brescia were readmitted to Serie B when they should have been
Right.
relegated.
Mm-hmm.
So this kind of I believe I saw that the Settori Ospiti for Cosenza is closed, so there won't be any Cosenza
Huh.
traveling fans if I recall correctly. I could be wrong. Um, so that for this, regardless of that, I think Brescia is turning out to be a really strong team, so I can't really bet against them. So I'm going to say one.
All right. So the Lioness versus the Wolves. Cosenza is on a good streak of results. In the last 5 games, they lost the fifth one. The not the most recent one, the latest, not the most recent one, the very for 5 weeks ago. Then they drew 3 games and they won one. So they're not bad, but they're not as good as Brescia. Although when I went to Brescia to see Brescia Spezia, Brescia really disappointed me. Like they didn't do much at all. They only scored out of a penalty, but they won in Genoa with Sampdoria. So this is Serie B, so unpredictable. Why did we decide to do predictions, Jake? It's so difficult.
This is
So you said,
also just
yeah,
to give a little, 12 games in, Brescia has won 5 and they've also lost 5, so it could really go either
huh,
way.
absolutely. So for
Like
this
like
reason, I'm gonna say X.
yeah, like they beat Sampdoria in Genova, but they lose to Cittadella at home. So I don't.
Unbelievable. It's awesome. It's beautiful to watch for
It
the
really is.
unpredictability.
So
All right. So next game is Mantova Cremonese. Cremonese has to come back up. Like, do they really want to play to try to be promoted, or are they just gonna struggle to even consolidate the position within the playoff spots? And Mantova is draw. They draw 3 games out of the most recent 5 and 2 losses. So they're not a bad team. They started really well, newly promoted, but Cremonese has to win this one, even if it's an away game. I don't know what is the track record of Mantova at home and how much the supporters might count, but yeah, I'm gonna say 2.
yeah, just to kind of piggyback on what you just said, Mantova is undefeated at home. They have 3 wins, 2 draws, 11 points compared to their road record, where they only have 2 points after 7 games. So they are definitely better at home. It seems like Cremonese losing to Pisa, um, difficult game for them. But yeah, I agree. They have to come back. I was thinking of a 2-1 Cremonese victory. I just I think mm, I don't know if this is a regional rivalry because I mean I know they're well I don't know how close geographically like driving Cremona and Mantua is,
I'm
but
checking it out to be
I
exact.
assume it's close. So there's probably going to be like a lot of fans in attendance. So oh man, this is really tricky. To disagree with you, I'll say an X because we've already agreed with a lot of our predictions. So I could
I
see a
like it.
Cremonese
I
victory,
like it.
but I could also see a draw.
All right. I'm checking Mantova and Cremona, how distance they are. Answering your question, they are 70 kilometers, like 67 something. So yeah, less than a little bit more than an hour.
Okay,
Yeah,
so yeah,
yeah.
all right,
We'll see. All right, moving on. Next game is Cittadella Cesena. It's yours to
all
predict
right.
first.
Yeah, so Cittadella, off the back of a really needed, refreshing win in Palermo, hosting Cesena, who are in fourth place. But if we take a look at, once again, home record versus away record, Cesena is much, much better at home. 16 points out of the 18 that they have right now have came at home. But in contrast to that, Cittadella, once again, is not great at home. They haven't won a home game since January. Maybe the things have changed. This is probably their best opportunity to do it because they had that rejuvenated win against Palermo to maybe go into this international break with a fresh start. Just given the away record for Cesena and the home record for Cittadella, I could just see a draw in this. So I'm going to say an X,
I understand.
which I don't
Well,
think would
to
be a
disagree
bad
with
result
you,
for Cittadella, but definitely need a
right,
win.
right. To disagree with you, and because I wish you guys well, I think that you turn things around with Palermo, and now you are pumped, after the away game, and you're missing the home win for too long. So I'm going to predict a strong win for
Right.
Cittadella, and I wish you
All
guys
right.
well.
All right. Well done. Thank you.
Of course, anything that I can do. Next game is Reggiana Catanzaro. Let's see how these two teams are doing. Reggiana lost 3 out of the 5 most recent games, won 1 and drew the most recent one. While Catanzaro keeps on drawing. Catanzaro 4 draws out of the most recent 5 and 1 win. They are only 1 point away. Catanzaro in 11th place and Reggiana in the 13th place. Reggiana has to come back to a win sometime. I don't know. I mean, I was expecting Catanzaro not to be the surprise that they were last season. But I thought that probably Reggiana could do better than Catanzaro this season. So they draw both of them, then lost. Reggiana is playing at home. So not to predict an X, I'm going to predict a 1.
One. Okay.
Catanzaro has
All
been
right.
drawing a lot, so an X is more likely probably, but I'm going to say 1.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I don't know what this game like. I could see a one, I could see an X, I could see a two. This really could go either way. Two teams just are very unpredictable. I mean, Catanzaro drawing a lot of games. Reggiana, sitting 13th. They're not doing great. They're not doing horrible. So, man, this is really like a coin flip. I'm gonna
Yeah.
say another X, another draw. So this time I'm
Yeah, I think you're going to
predicting
be
all these
right on
results.
this one. I
Great.
can't say X all the time because you get mad at me. So
Oh, now it's my turn to say all the X.
right. No, but I don't blame you. I agree. I agree. Juve Stabia Spezia. You're up.
Oh, well, how about you start? Because I started with Cittadella, so you can start with Spezia.
Sure. Sure, sure. So we talked about it last night with Giampaolo Esposito, journalist for La Gazzetta dello Sport and Il Corriere della Sera in our program Spazio al Prossimo. First of all, is a sweet comeback home for Salvatore Esposito and Francesco P. Esposito, who are from Castellammare di Stabia. They actually just renovated a small not soccer team, a small pitch where they used to play growing up. So that was something nice. So anyhow, it's going to be a difficult game. We all knew that. We all predicted that going, towards this game. But I did not expect to face Juve Stabia, a newly promoted team, being in sixth place with 17 points. So we already talk every week. We talk about the fact that they are the only team together with Carrarese, they have a pitch that's completely synthetic. So that already is an advantage for the team, but it's also a very narrow pitch. They told us last night, which is something that Spezia is familiar with because Spezia's pitch is smaller in width than most of other fields. So that's something that is not going to surprise the Eagles, but the surface is going to impact the playing style of both teams. They're not. We ask if the two teams are going to be facing each other openly, and Esposito, Giampaolo explained us that Juve Stabia is a team that's very good at counter-attacking. It's going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult. I hope the Spezia can keep on. I mean, you predicted, and rightfully so, Spezia losing in Brescia and stopping the undefeated streak of games. Spezia is not losing since April of last season. We lost 2-0 with Parma, and I hope we can stay undefeated. So for this reason, I don't see Spezia pulling off another away win as we did in Salerno, which would put us back with the with the English average, which is something that I would like to see. But at least not losing. So X.
Okay, that's a fair assessment. Real quickly, out of curiosity, you said the journalist, his last name was Esposito. Is he
Esposito
related?
as well, yeah.
Is he
No, they're not
related to?
related. They're not related.
Oh,
No,
okay,
no, no.
okay, okay. I
It's
was
plenty
just
of Esposito. We got Naples, Castellammare di Stabia, and Salerno. Even the journalist that we had as protagonist of Spazio al Prossimo pre-Salernitana Spezia was Esposito, Luca Esposito. So
wow,
it's plenty of Esposito.
wow. There, it's everywhere. So,
I asked that
um,
question myself. I asked him last night.
yeah. Well, so Juve Stabia is, yeah, like you said, um, one of the best newly promoted teams. They've, they play on this synthetic turf and, packed ground. Difficult place to play, long away trip. Really interesting that once again, a lot of goals from this Juve Stabia team have come from set pieces or penalty kicks, kind of similar to Spezia. They've scored combined six out of the 13 goals they've scored have come in from dead ball situations, penalties, whatnot. So um, I would be not surprised if this game ends 2-2 and all the goals come from corner kicks or whatever. I keep saying this. I probably will keep predicting until I get it right, but I don't think Spezia can go the entire season undefeated. The If there's going to be one game that they lose, I think it will be this one. So I'm going to say one, just because Juve Stabia has had a lot of success at home against these strong opponents like Sassuolo. They got the draw against Sassuolo. They lost against Cremonese, they lost against Palermo, but in those games, we talked how they look good. They beat Pisa, so they're the only team to beat Pisa so far this season. And yeah. So I'm gonna have to say Juve Stabia. I'm sorry, Ilya, but it's gonna happen eventually. So just prepare. I think you're muted. We can't hear you.
Sorry, because I'm coughing a lot and I don't want to bother when I cough, so I turned it off earlier. Sorry.
Ah, that's
So
good.
we already had one season years ago when we got promoted to Chi 2 to the current Lega Pro Chi 1 as of the undefeated. So hopefully it will happen again, but sooner or later it will have to end eventually. So we'll see. We'll see. The next game to predict is Salernitana Bari. Go ahead, Jake.
Yeah, this is the two ultra groups of Salernitana and Bari are a very they're very close. They're gemellaji, so this is a sympathetic game for both sides.
It's
However,
a game
Bari,
for Biscotto.
yeah, a great yeah, exactly. So, Bari drawing a lot of games. Salernitana, they're not doing great, but they did get 2 straight draws. They've beaten Palermo on the road, so yeah, I'm gonna say, uh, well, I'm gonna say a 2. I'll say Bari win.
All right.
Yeah, because
Okay.
I've predicted a lot
Okay.
of draws and not a lot of away wins, so why not 2? Why not?
I'm not gonna be very long with this one because I know that tonight we're on a tight schedule. I'm gonna say X on this one because of Bari drawing a lot and Salernitana not being in a great shape. So there you go. Dang.
That's
We'll
fair. I
see what
could
happens.
yeah, great biscotto.
Great biscotto indeed. And I predicted only 4 draws this week, so I'm right up there. I mean, that's my average. Anyhow, these are our predictions for round 13. If you want to find out how many points we score, we do invite you to join our next live next Wednesday at 7 p.m. CET time, always on our YouTube channels. And you can also find us where, Jake?
Yeah, you could find me, Chitakachu USA on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. You could find all our stuff there, as well as our website, chitakachuusa.com for pre-match articles, post-match news, all that stuff. If you want to read more about the team, you can find it there at chitakachuusa.com.
All right. Thank you very much for the time you're dedicating to our content. And we'll see you next week, Wednesday, 7 p.m. CE time. And we're going to be speaking Serie B. See
Serie
you
B.
guys.